Hello students, welcome to the lecture series of turbo machine subject. We will start with unit number 3, that is reaction water turbines. Unit number 3 in our subject TMC. In this first part, we will discuss introduction of reaction turbines and construction and working of a Francis turbine. So the introduction. In a reaction turbine, at the entrance to the runner, only a part of the available energy of water is converted into kinetic energy, and a substantial part of a water hydraulic energy remains in the form of pressure energy. Okay. If you remember the working of a Pelton wheel, at the inlet of a turbine, we had a nozzle that would convert all of the hydraulic energy, that is pressure energy, potential energy, into kinetic energy. But here in the reaction turbine, at the entrance of the runner, only a part of the available hydraulic energy, means potential energy or pressure energy, is converted into kinetic energy, and the substantial amount of energy still remains in the form of a pressure energy. Okay, that is a big difference. As water flows through the runner, the change from the pressure to the kinetic energy takes place gradually. Okay, in a reaction turbine, as the water flows inside the runner, then the remaining pressure energy gradually changes into kinetic energy. Okay. This is second difference. Then as the pressure at the inlet to the turbine is still much higher than the pressure at the outlet of a reaction turbine, and it varies throughout the passage of water through the turbine. Okay, so it is understood logically. The pressure at the inlet of a reaction turbine would be a higher one than the pressure at the outlet. Okay, and it varies throughout the passage of water through the turbine runner from inlet to outlet. For this gradual change of pressure to be possible, the runner in this case must be completely enclosed in an airtight casing. Okay, and the passage is entirely full of water throughout the operation of the turbine, right? As there is a gradual change of pressure, actually a gradual drop of pressure, the runner should be completely enclosed in an airtight casing. Okay, and the passage of water which is full of water throughout the operation of the turbine. The difference of pressure, that is pressure drop between the inlet and the outlet of the runner, is called reaction pressure, right? And hence the turbines are known as reaction turbines. As there is a difference of a pressure at the inlet and at the outlet, between inlet and outlet, that is called as a reaction pressure, and the turbines are known as reaction turbines. Example of a reaction turbines are, the old one are Fournier-Ohm turbine, Thomson turbine, Francis propeller, and Kaplan turbine. So out of these, Francis and the Kaplan turbines are predominantly used at present. So now we will see the construction and working of a Francis turbine. Okay, so the Francis turbine has a scroll shaped casing. First of all, this is a scroll shaped casing. So here you can see this is a scroll shaped casing, right? It has a spiral shape, and this is the intake from the penstock. So this is connected to penstock. The water will enter in the scroll spiral shaped casing. Then that is followed by, then the water will flow through in a radial direction through the stay vents. So these are stay vents, this one. Okay, After, there is a row of a stay vents. Stay vents are stationary fixed vents. This black colored stay vents, right? Then next is the row of a guide vents. So this internal to stay vent, we have a next row of a guide vent, also known as wicket gate. So guide vent row. These are also known as wicket gates. Then the water will enter in a runner vents. So centrally there is a runner mounted on the shaft. Water will enter over the runner in a radial direction. So here we have at the center runner with the runner vents, and the entry of water is still radial in the runner. Okay. While flowing in the runner, the water changes its direction from radial entry to axial exit. So here we have a exit of a runner in an axial direction parallel to axis of the shaft. After that, the runner exit is connected to tail race water level. It is connected over here by means of a draft tube. Okay, a draft tube is a closed tube which has a diverging cross sectional area or a increasing cross sectional area. Okay, we will see the importance of all these parts and why they are so designed. So this is the inlet over here. This is a spiral shaped casing. You can see it has a spiral shape, as well as cross section of a scroll casing goes on reducing in the flow direction. Okay, that's why the name scroll. Then there is a row of a guide blades. These are guide vents. Then centrally there will be a runner. So this is a runner. Okay, as you can see over here, this is runner, and that is connected. The water is then discharged through the draft tube. So Francis turbine construction and working. Francis turbine is a mixed flow type of reaction turbine. It is named in honor of James B. Francis. Okay, he was an American engineer, and he developed an inward radial flow type of reaction turbine way back in 1849. Okay, he developed pure inward radial flow type of turbine, reaction turbine. Later on it was modified as a modern Francis turbine, a mixed flow type of turbine, in which water enters the runner radially at its outer periphery and lives axially at its center. Okay. So first part is scroll casing or a spiral casing. The purpose of the casing is to provide an even distribution of water around the circumference of the turbine runner. Even distribution means equal distribution of water around the circumference of turbine runner, maintaining an approximately constant velocity for the water which is distributed. Okay, it is distributed with constant velocity. Now, in order to keep the velocity of water constant throughout its path around the runner in the casing, the cross-sectional area of the casing is gradually decreased, right? This is the reason why the casing has a gradually reducing cross-sectional area, so as to maintain the constant velocity of water throughout its flow around the runner vents at the entry of a runner vents. Casing is made up of either a cast steel, plate steel, or sometimes a concrete and a steel combination. That depends on the pressure to which it is subjected, right? Plate steel scroll casing is commonly provided for the turbines with the heads more than 30 meter, right? We know Francis turbine is a medium head type of a turbine. So the operating range of this turbine is around 60 meter to 250 meter, and it is a medium discharge type of a turbine, right? Medium head, medium discharge type of turbine. The next element is speed ring or steering. Okay, the speed ring consists of an upper and a lower ring, which are held together by series of fixed vanes called as stay vanes. The number of stay vanes is usually taken as half the number of guide vanes, right? It has two functions. Stay vanes have a two function. First, it directs the water from the scroll casing to the guide vanes. Second function, it resists the load imposed upon it by the internal pressure of water, the load due to weight of the turbine and the weight of a electrical generator. So all this load imposed by the internal water pressure, by the turbine weight, by the electrical generator weight is transmitted to the foundation. So that is the important function of a steering. Steering again can be made up of cast iron, cast steel or fabricated steel. Next is we have a row of a guide blades or guide vanes. These are also known as wicket gates, right, which are provided all around the periphery of the turbine runner, right, just before the entry of a turbine runner of a Francis turbine. We have a guide vanes. The function of guide vanes is to regulate the quantity of water supplied to the runner. Okay, to regulate means to control, to manipulate the quantity of water supplied to the runner, and second, to direct the water onto the runner at an angle appropriate to the design. So that is the second function, to direct it at a required angle at the inlet of runner vanes, right, means to guide the water at a required angle. Guide vanes have airfoil shaped and are made up of cast steel, stainless steel or sometimes plate steel. These vanes, guide vanes have a cross section of a airfoil shape, right? Each guide vane is provided with two stems. The upper stem passes through the head cover and the lower stem seats in the bottom ring. By a system of levers and links, all the guide vanes may be turned about their stems, means about their hinge points. These stems are actually hinge points, so as to alter the width of the passage between the adjacent guide vanes, thereby allowing a variable quantity of water to strike the runner, right? Guide vanes are non-rotating stationary vanes, but you can change the width of the passage between the adjacent guide vanes by changing their orientation about the hinge points. Those are stems, right? So for this there is a mechanism of a levers and links. So guide vanes are either operated by means of a wheel or they can be operated automatically by a governor, which would change the orientation of the guide vanes. Next is the part runner. The runner of a Francis turbine consists of a series of curved vanes around 16 to 24 in a number, and they are evenly arranged around the circumference in the annular space between two plates, right? These are series of curved vanes and they are placed in annular space between the two circular plates. The vanes are so shaped that water enters the runner radially at the outer periphery and leaves it axially at the inner periphery. So the runner vanes have a complicated shape right? Radial entry at the outer periphery and axial exit at the inner periphery. So within the runner there is a change in flow direction. The change in the direction of flow of water from radial to axial inside the runner, through the runner, produces a circumferential force to act on the runner, which makes the runner to rotate and thus contributes to the useful output of the runner, useful power output of the runner. So remember, the circumferential force which acts on the Francis runner is generated because of this change of flow direction of the water from radial entry to axial exit inside the runner, right? So that's how the power is produced. The runner is set into motion. These are also made up of either cast iron or sometimes cast steel, mild steel or stainless steel. Okay. The runner is keyed to a shaft which is usually made up of a forged steel, right? And of course this shaft is connected to the shaft of the generator by means of a flange coupling. Runner blades are made up of sometimes stainless steel so as to prevent the cavitation erosion. Okay. In case of a Francis turbine, cavitation is a problem, is a phenomenon, and it may deteriorate the runner vents. Next is draft tube. The water after passing through the runner flows to the tail race through a draft tube, right? Draft tube is a pipe or passage of gradually increasing cross-sectional area which connects the runner exit to the tail race. Okay, it is a pipe of a gradually increasing area which connects the runner exit with the tail race water level. It is again made up of a cast steel, plate steel or sometimes made up of a concrete. Draft tube must be always airtight under all conditions of operation, and its lower end must be submerged below the tail race water level all the times. Okay. So the draft tube has two functions actually. First is it permits a negative head, suction head to be established at the runner exit, right? It permits a negative pressure head to be established at the runner exit. Okay, at the inlet of runner the pressures are very high, more than atmospheric pressure, much more than atmospheric pressure, but at the exit of runner the pressures are very low. Sometimes the pressures might be lower than atmospheric pressure, so that is called negative pressure. Negative head, suction head can be established at the exit of a runner. So that is that shows how much pressure drop is carried out in the runner vents, thus making it possible to install the turbine above the tail race level without the loss of head. Okay. Now since turbine is installed at some height from the tail race level, you can recover that height by carrying out more pressure drop, and that is the logic. Second function is it converts a large proportion of velocity energy which is rejected from the runner into useful pressure energy, right? The water exiting the runner has a very high kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy is converted into useful pressure energy by means of a draft tube having a increasing cross-sectional area, diverging flow passage. So it means it acts like a recuperator of pressure energy, because the increasing cross-sectional area acts like a diffuser. So it has a diffuser type of a function. Okay. These are some actual photographs of a Francis runner, right? So this is the famous Three Gorges Dam, China, which has Francis turbine runners installed over there, and there are total 32 number of Francis runners installed in a world's biggest hydroelectric plant. The capacity of this plant is 22,500 megawatt, and it is the world's biggest hydroelectric plant in China. This is the Francis turbine exterior view. It is coupled to generator over here. It is a small capacity, small size turbine. This is the runner of a Francis turbine, right? You can see the sizes. The sizes varies from 10 meter to few 1 meter to 10 meters, right? That is the range of diameters. This is the cut section of a Francis turbine installation. Okay, thank you.